Morning, guys. It's Tony Paladin. To get training this morning has been a mission. Just trying to get everything going. Sunday morning, trying to get kids fed and activities planned and so on and so forth. But thought we'd sneak in a quick hour and maybe just chat about some cool stuff. So, what I was quite keen to unpack today is the concept of on the day performance. So, a lot of athletes coming up to their day of performance, whether it's a big game or a trial day or a race day or whatever it is, feel this massive compulsion to have to manufacture something super, super special on the day. It's like the day comes and all of a sudden everything that we've trained for and learned gets forgotten and something magical has to happen. And I'm often posed with this question, and I'd like to present a little bit of a mindset shift in terms of thinking about what to actually think about on the preparation on your lead up to your performance. So if you think about it, you've done a relatively good amount of training, hopefully, leading up to your day. So the way I kind of like to think about this is that, when you're going to be planning performance or planning a day where you've got a big game or a big trial, it's quite similar to an art exhibition. If you think about it, an art exhibition is the invitations go out, a lot of fancy people are invited, there are media crews, guys running around with cameras, and it's quite a big prestigious event. It starts at a certain time, everyone's dressed up. But when you arrive at the art exhibition, you notice that all of the art is already positioned on the walls. If they're sculptures, some of the sculptures have got cloths over them. But when you arrive, everything's already been set up. And people generally arrive and talk and mingle. And you effectively wait for the main event. And the main event would be the unveiling of all of the beautiful art at the art exhibition. So now taking this back into the realm of athletic performance. When the big day arrives, we're not running around at an art exhibition trying to create art at the last minute, pulling things out, running around looking for chisels or paintbrushes or thinners or paint or screwdrivers. What generally should happen is that all of the preparation and the preparation of art, and I like to try and compare athletic performance and training to art because the two require a lot of emotional investment and a lot of strategic planning, is when the big day arrives, really it's merely a simple unveiling of all the preparation that's occurred over the previous weeks, months, years. And I think adopting that mindset when going into a big competition is hugely valuable in terms of allowing yourself just to calm down and execute what you need to do. So if you think about it effectively, all of the training that's happened, the psychological preparation, the strength and conditioning, the flexibility, the strength development, the nutrition, the injury mitigation, the form correction, breaking things down, working with each of your stakeholders, all of your coaches, all of your team, putting together this beautiful piece of art, which is ultimately going to be your perfect performance. When you arrive on race day or performance day, and you can just allow all of that work to be presented for everybody to watch, there's no real necessity to be nervous about the fact that you need to perform on the day. I think the mindset of having to perform on the day can create quite a lot of negative stress that doesn't necessarily need to be there. When you start thinking about the fact that amazing preparation can happen in the lead up to an event, it actually becomes quite exciting, because when you go into an art exhibition or your day of performance, it's super exciting. You can arrive and unveil all of this amazing stuff that you've prepared over months, years, however long it's taken you. And I think that subtle shift in mindset often dictates the difference between the first and the second place, or the podium and the non-podium, or the winner, the loser, the A, the B final, the making the semi-final, whatever sporting event it is. But I think if there's an element of enticement and excitement in going to an event, being able to give everything that you've created, as opposed to going to an event being unsure of your preparation and needing to manufacture something special on the day, very, very, very fine line. And you know, when we talk about any sport, and especially the higher up the echelon you get in sports, the smaller the margins become. So small mistakes can have big outcomes. If you've practiced something over and over again in training, the chance of you getting it right on the day becomes a lot more natural. And I think the belief and confidence in your abilities to get it right when you're under pressure is going to be a lot more second nature, as opposed to needing it to happen on the day. Which kind of brings me on to my next point in terms of where should the focus lie? Is the focus on amazing preparation, or is the focus on amazing execution? Now, this is a fairly obvious answer because it ultimately lies in both. The preparation needs to be of a gold medal standard. And a lot of the theme that I'll speak about is the gold medal standard. So the gold medal lifestyle, it's the optimal training, it's the ticking all of the boxes, paying perfect attention to absolutely every single sector of your, not only your training, but your existence, from your sleep to your nutrition to your injury management, psychological well-being, your flexibility, your cardiovascular output, your maximum strength, your anaerobic output, all of those things. It also boils down to a gold medal approach towards your happiness and your motivation, because without that, you're going to be unable to push yourself to within the inch of wanting to quit every single time you train. And if you can have a perfect execution over weeks, months, years of absolutely optimal and ideal training, when it comes time to present yourself in an event, it becomes a lot easier to execute a winning mindset on the day. A lot of people have the phrase big match temperament. I mean, yes, big match temperament is huge. It's the ability to convert amazing work into amazing performance. But I put a slight spin on the BMT, or the big match temperament, is that big match temperament can only exist if optimal execution has occurred. If optimal execution of training has not occurred, I don't feel that you can have a big match temperament without some form of prayer or hope that something's not going to go wrong. So generally, I think, to wrap it up, the moral of the story, guys, is in order to reduce stress on the day, in order to allow yourself to be a gold medalist, or at least give yourself a chance to be the gold medalist, your training in the lead up has to be of a gold medal standard, not only within the training, but within the entire ecosystem. That will allow you to have perfect execution on the day when you need to perform without stress. Because if you are stressed going into competition, and I'll get onto stress a little bit further, because a certain amount of stress is required in order for you to perform optimally. But if you go into a performance overstressed because of lack or poor preparation, it puts the additional unwarranted stress on you, on needing to perform. And when you need to perform, you ultimately tend to not perform. So when you want to perform, you tend to perform better than when you need to perform. And I think it's a slight difference of when you train optimally, you want to perform. When you don't train optimally, you need to perform. And I think that difference becomes the difference between the winner and the loser.